Popcorn pops because every kernel is like a tiny sealed pressure cooker. Inside each kernel is a small drop of water surrounded by soft starch, all wrapped in a tough shell called the pericarp. When heated, this water turns into steam, and the pressure from the steam makes the kernel explode into the fluffy snack we love. Step by step, what happens when you heat popcorn? 1. The heat begins. As the popcorn kernel heats up, in a microwave, on a stove, or in an air popper, the temperature rises. The water inside the kernel starts to heat up and turn into steam. 2. Building pressure. The hard outer shell, the pericarp, traps the steam inside, so the pressure builds up. Think of it like blowing up a balloon inside the kernel. The steam keeps pushing outward, but the shell doesn't let it escape. 3. The big boom. At around 180 degrees 356, the pressure gets so strong that the shell can't hold it anymore. It bursts open, and the hot starch inside is released all at once. The starch expands rapidly, puffing up as it cools. That's the pop in popcorn. 4. The fluffy texture. When the starch inside the kernel puffs out, it's still hot and soft. As soon as it hits the cooler air, it hardens into the crunchy popcorn we know. This process happens almost instantly, which is why it seems so magical. What makes popcorn kernels special? Not all corn can pop. Popcorn kernels are unique because hard shell. The pericarp is tough enough to hold the pressure until it reaches just the right point. Other types of corn have thinner shells that can't trap steam. Starch inside. The starch in popcorn kernels is just the right consistency to puff up when it gets hot. Why do some kernels not pop? Not every popcorn kernel pops, and here's why. 1. Not enough water. If a kernel doesn't have enough water inside, it won't build enough steam to pop. 2. Damaged shell. If the hard shell has a crack or hole, the steam escapes before the pressure can build up, so it doesn't pop. These unpopped kernels are sometimes called old maids. Fun facts about popcorn. 1. Ancient snack. People have been eating popcorn for thousands of years. The oldest popcorn ever found was in a cave in Mexico and is over 5,000 years old. 2. Jumping kernels. When popcorn pops, the force of the explosion is so strong that it can make the kernel jump several inches into the air. 3. Popcorn efficiency. A popcorn kernel expands up to 40 times its original size when it pops. 4. Perfect pop. For the best popping, the moisture inside a popcorn kernel should be around 14 to 20%. Too much or too little water affects how well it pops. Popcorn and science. Popcorn isn't just fun to eat, it's a great way to learn about science. Pressure and steam. Popcorn shows how liquids turn into gases when heated and how pressure builds up in a closed space. Thermodynamics. The transformation of heat into motion, like the kernel jumping, and expansion is a cool example of thermodynamics. Different ways to pop popcorn. 1. Microwave popcorn. The kernels are heated quickly in special bags that trap steam to help the kernels pop. 2. Stovetop popcorn. Kernels are heated in oil, which evenly distributes heat and helps the kernels pop perfectly. 3. Air poppers. These machines use hot air to pop the kernels without oil, making a healthier snack. Why do we love popcorn so much? Popcorn is not only delicious, but it's also a sensory treat. The popping sound, the fluffy texture, and the buttery smell all make it an irresistible snack. Plus, it's super versatile. You can make it salty, sweet, spicy, or cheesy. Popcorn pops because heat turns the water inside the kernel into steam, creating pressure until the shell bursts. The starch inside expands into a fluffy, crunchy treat. Next time you make popcorn, remember that each kernel is a tiny pressure cooker with a delicious surprise waiting to happen.